So we're back with Cole Hershkowitz, and you got a pretty interesting background, Cole. You gave us a little tiny tidbit at the beginning there, but you have an education in engineering. You we had internships. You had networking with techies and entrepreneurs. As you said, you had a stint with SoCal Edison, so big corporate,
Yeah.
and now you're the CEO of Chai Energy, otherwise known as Chai, but we'll go with Chai. And share with us how you've evolved in your career, and even at a young age, are you at the point where this is where I always wanted to be when I grow up?
I think I am. So yeah, to start from a younger age, I guess two things kind of came together when I was younger, when I was even before college, before maybe in high school. One thing is I would go to this camp every summer in the middle of nowhere, West Virginia, and you'd go hiking around, and you'd kind of be very much surrounded by nature for the entirety of the camp. And I loved it, and I still actually wish I could go back today. I just have not figured out how to call them up and say, hey, remember me? But I think part of that, it really got me kind of understanding that there's this natural balance in the environment around us, the natural balance in, the forest, the natural balance in the waterways, the water system, the water cycle, and things like that. And I think that's really where my interest in sustainability came from, is understanding that outside of these cities, outside of these concrete jungles that we build around ourselves, there's this place that's been in balance for millions upon millions upon millions upon billions of years, and it's something that humans are putting forces on externally, and it's changing it rapidly. And that's kind of where my interest in environmental studies came from. Segued that in college into a minor in environmental studies at Oberlin College. That kind of turned in when I went to Caltech. That turned into the Solar Decathlon project. Me and a couple others started this project. You build a net zero solar powered home. I ended up leading the computing innovations team, in which we kind of integrate smart home technology. This is well before Nest had launched. This is quite some time before we had Kickstarter smart home projects and these sort of things. And we built this smart home that actually had a number of really advanced features. We had the first iPad app that let you control your home. We had a system that let you point at lights to turn them on and off. And I think that's kind of my environmental track. The other piece of this is kind of business zeal for entrepreneurship, wanting to start something, wanting to create things. And when I was younger, that was very much manifested in just building blocks and toys and these marble runs. And as I got older, in high school, it turned into running small, tiny little businesses where I'd sell candy to students and make money off of that. Nothing huge, but at the same time, it gets that entrepreneurial fix in you. And then that kind of at Caltech manifested in being the president of the Caltech Entrepreneurship Club, organizing all these events, which is actually funny because it's probably one of the least entrepreneurial things you can do, is continue to run an existing club the same way it's been run for many, many years. But it did get me excited and kind of put me at the gates of entrepreneurship and allowed me to see what I was missing by not being an entrepreneur. And then, I guess technology, sustainability came together. I got a job at Southern California Edison, spent about a year there. It was a great job. I learned a lot, but I did get bored very quickly working there. So ended up taking that job, taking what I learned there. Actually, Edison had just finished rolling out about 5 million smart electric meters, and saw that we were about, I think, a year away from that data being opened up to the customer. So there's 5 million meters in Southern California. I think it was 30 million nationwide at that point. It's actually the most, and still today, it's the most prevalent smart home device in people's homes, yet at the same time, it's the most underutilized. So we saw these devices that were deployed there, and we said, can we create more value from these things? These things are churning out data about your home every couple seconds. What can we do with that to help customers live a better life? Utilities have installed this thing by charging the customers in the rate base, And, utilities save some money by doing it. That's awesome. But meanwhile, the customers were kind of left in the cold. They were left without really being able to create any value from it. And that's why Left Edison started Chai, was to create value from that meter data. And that's kind of the story.
That's pretty awesome. Well, you're certainly not only in a critical industry, but a fast-growing industry. Welcome to technology, obviously, and bringing new innovations to the marketplace. We had originally met at Verity Exchange. We're also pretty involved in the clean tech, renewable energy arena with our executive search business. And what do you find the challenges? Not to be too profound, but what are the challenges and the opportunities? Not just for the business sake of making money, but to literally change the world.
Yeah, opportunities are bountiful. So you go on about those forever. I think the challenges are. The biggest challenge in starting a business like this, a business where there is so much opportunity, is figuring out, looking at all those opportunities, everything from, utilities that are desperately looking for ways to better engage their customers, to insurance companies that are trying to find a way to become more relevant, to smart home or IoT, and these big conglomerates that are also doing similar things to customers who just don't know where they're wasting money on the bill. Looking at all these opportunities and the challenges, figuring out of those opportunities, which ones are ready now, which ones can be solved today, which ones are most impactful today, and then picking those, validating that, and relentlessly focusing on the ones that are the most value add today. So that's the biggest thing, is we have so many opportunities in just this market, just this field, that it's actually paralyzing in a way, because it's difficult to discern and figure out which of these opportunities is most important. If you try to do all of them, you're not doing any of them well.
Right.
It takes you 12 months to invalidate 12 different ideas. It takes you 1 month to validate one idea, and all you need is one idea that works. So validating one idea quickly and then iterating on it and going after it is kind of how we look at it.
Yeah, no, it's really interesting. Talking and working with a lot of entrepreneurs at different levels, from pre-funded to fast-growing to middle market companies in our business. The one thing that's always fascinating is, the entrepreneur has to have a passion, a focus, a persistence, et cetera, but at the same token, which to some people sounds contradictory, but it's not, at the same token, be able to pivot.
Yeah.
So talk to us about, in a way, it is a contradictory statement, but it's not. How do you do that?
Yeah, I think it's an absolutely, you have to have myopia, you have to have that relentless kind of tunnel vision when it comes to what you're trying to achieve, the end goal, which for us is to help customers reduce their energy bill and get rid of energy waste. I'd love to see a world in 20 years where people just literally are not wasting energy in any way.
Right.
So remaining focused on that, having that be the goal, but then the tack to get there can change. And, I think the most important way to do that is, after every experiment you run, after every new feature you try, after every product you try, you look at the data and you say, is this getting us closer to our goal? Is it getting us closer to the goal than these other 3 things we're doing? And then which of those 3 or 4 things is the most important? Because it's very easy to get distracted by new shiny objects. And one of the things that we try to do is evaluating things very quantitatively, very numerically, to figure out what is the most important. And then once we do that, we go after that idea and we iterate on it, we improve it in a more qualitative way, in a way where we are interacting with our customers and asking them, what do you want to see? How are you saving energy? Give you an example. We had a customer reach out to us the other day asking us about this new PG&E utility rate that they had never seen before, and that PG&E emailed them some totally cryptic email that said, hey, there's this new rate, sign up if you want. And they were like, well, I have no idea what this means.
Right.
We take the data, we look at it, we analyze it, we figure out this customer can in fact save a lot of money. We push that to him. He says this is great. He switches. He saves money, and then we take that back and we say that was a great experience. He loved that. He saved money. We helped him. Let's see if we can do that for more people. And then we kind of iterated on it, made it more digestible, and now we're in the process of continuing to push forward with that feature right now.
So basically, you're your why stays the same, and stays solid and strong and whatnot, and your actions to achieve that why are the pivot part.
Yeah, I think so. Although, you could look at our why over time, over the 3 years that this company's existed, and it's changed. It's just changed more slowly. It doesn't pivot. It just kind of meanders, around the industry buzzwords and towards what's interesting at the time and towards new things that happen technology-wise.
Yeah.
So it's none of this stuff is static. Just some of them, I think the why changes more slowly. It's kind of one of those subconscious things that you don't even realize it's changing because it's changing so slowly.
Yeah.
And the how, that changes abruptly as you get new information.
Yeah, good description. I know you're over at LACI and you've been involved in Verde Exchange. Tell us just briefly how those relationships, those partnerships, if you will, have supported you and Chai Energy.
Yeah, both Verde Exchange and LACI exemplify the incredible clean tech community that has kind of built up around LA. You just have so many people here who, LA is known for Hollywood and things like that, aerospace, engineering to some extent. But I think what it's not as known for is the mountains that, you can pretty much see from everywhere, the beach that's right there. We're pretty much in the heart of the confluence of multiple environmental systems here, the desert on the side over there, like Palm Desert. So you have a lot of people who really appreciate that stuff, who actually came to LA for the outdoors activities, and they're looking for things to do. They were looking to make a larger impact in the world, and you end up finding a lot of the young people, at least in that, kind of come to LA with that interest,
sure.
Ending up in clean energy and clean tech. And, there's also a really huge plethora of just kind of older, maybe more wiser people who have been around the block, who have started a number of companies and have kind of come back to clean energy or come to clean energy from the industries they were in. So you have such a broad variety of expertise within clean energy, because a lot of people didn't start there, but within the last 10, 20 years, they've kind of moved to clean energy because they found it as something that's really important for their children. So it's a really good community, and I think LACI and Verde Exchange exemplify that.
Yeah, well said. Being involved with them, I couldn't agree more. And you're right. There's a lot of let's call them more senior seasoned. I like the way you say maybe wiser people. Yeah. That
I was trying to figure out a nicer way to say it. It just came out that way.
No, it's totally cool.
Yeah.
It's totally cool. But they are looking for ways to make it.
More senior.
Yeah, they are looking for ways to make a difference in the environment, and actually, it's a great combination of wiser and younger and smart together to achieve some cool things, and a lot of it is happening here in LA. So I think you're right.
Yeah, and it's really incredible how it kind of goes across all age ranges in clean energy. I think you have Hollywood, which is very bifurcated, a lot of young people, a lot of really old people, and no one really in the middle. But clean energy, I think, really is important to a lot of different people, a lot of different socioeconomic groups for a lot of different reasons, and it's good because that variety of diversity of people involved creates better ideas, creates colliding ideas, kind of brings ideas from different fields, and it's good for the industry.
Yeah, I just interviewed two other young people, Aaron Tartovsky and Ashley Taliberth. I don't know if you know them. They were the founders of the Israel-California Clean Tech Alliance for Water Management, and same thing. Great young people coming up, working with LACI and others to make things happen. So I wanted to ask you as a question on that. So what advice would you give up and coming young leaders who, they would love to be entrepreneurs, maybe don't know how to do it? Should they do it? The parents are saying, oh man, you should just become a whatever. What do they do?
Yeah, actually, when I started my company, my dad was not happy about it. I thought it would go under within a year, kept asking me what my plan was. And I think within the last 2 years, kind of since he's seen our success and the growth and the things that we're actually doing for people in their homes, he's really changed his tune. And now his question is always, what's the next step with the company, not what's your personal plan. But advice for people who want to be entrepreneurs, I think it's hard. I don't know if I'd advise anyone that I don't know to do it. That being said, if you're passionate about an idea, You feel like you've learned a lot about how company. I think this is the thing that I wish I had learned going into it. Is I worked at a big company. I had never worked at, and I worked at a small organization, and I called it an organization because I think it was an NGO or it was nonprofit-like.
Right.
But I never worked at kind of a company in the stage, so I didn't really know what to expect, and I had to get all of that context, all of that grounding through the Clean Tech Incubator, through friends, through advisors that we've put together, and that's been tough. So I would advise that people go work for a startup for a couple years before they start their own company, and you can kind of see if it's right for you from within a startup without putting yourself financially on the line, without putting yourself emotionally on the line, and everything else that comes with entrepreneurship.
Yes.
So that's what I'd recommend. And if you still think I'm an idiot right now, then maybe start a company.
I think real smart advice. All right, a couple of personal questions. Not too personal, but personal questions. These are kind of like 1 to 3 word answers type of thing. Do you have a pet?
Yeah, a cat named Albert.
Albert, cool. All right, that's cool. How about a favorite activity or sport?
I like hiking. I like backpacking, and I like walking around listening to audiobooks.
Oh, neat. Good idea. How about favorite movie or TV show?
I don't.
Steve Jobs?
I just watched that movie on the airplane coming back, actually.
It wasn't bad, huh?
No, it was very good. I liked it a lot, although I believe it's mostly fictional, in how at least they portray things.
Yeah.
I like Lord of the Rings. I like the first episode, the first season of Homeland. That was good.
Oh, cool. Those are good choices. How about do you have favorite music or food?
Tacos. Tacos is both my favorite food and my favorite music.
Nice. Very consistent. All right. Hey, thanks for sharing all that.